Tonight, reopening the doors at Cambridge City Hall.
We understand that there could be issues and safety issues, but, almost a month.
3 weeks of security restrictions lifted, even as questions linger.
Everybody seems to be passing the buck or skirting the issue.
About the unusual decisions. A family home lost to fire.
There was heavy flame smoke showing coming from the garage area.
The damage and the rush to help.
Made sure the family was okay, went out, kind of helped calm them down a little bit.
During a devastating ordeal. Councillor reprimand.
So we will see what council chooses, and we really, really hope that council will choose to keep that code of conduct as a priority for how they handle themselves with the community.
The social media share that now has a local politician facing a possible punishment. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Cambridge City Hall has reopened, and so have the doors at City Council. In-person attendance is allowed again 3 weeks after a security scare that led to restrictions around the building. But some residents say there are still many unanswered questions about why the moves were necessary. CTV's Krista Simpson joins us now, live from Cambridge City Hall, with more on the unusual situation that's been unfolding. Krista.
Well, Tony, some Cambridge residents tell me they feel there is a lack of transparency here, and that's why the way the situation has been handled is particularly upsetting. Some gathered outside of City Hall ahead of tonight's meeting to express their ongoing frustrations. Cambridge City Hall is once again fully open to the public. And for the first time in 3 weeks, they can attend council in person and not via telephone. The restrictions were put in place 3 weeks ago after a security incident.
My biggest issue was the accessibility for everyone, and everyone has a right to be in City Hall.
Barbara Harrington, one of a few citizens raising concerns about why the measures were put in place and kept in place for so long.
We understand that there could be issues and safety issues, but, almost a month.
Some gathered outside City Hall Tuesday ahead of the meeting, now open to the public, to express their ongoing frustration.
Disappointed in the mayor.
In the city's statement announcing the reopening, it says the issues involved persistent disruptive behavior by a member of the public that included threatening remarks, inappropriate conduct on city property, aggressively pursuing contact with staff and council, and gaining access to restricted areas of city buildings more than once. Waterloo Regional Police investigated after a threatening voicemail and say that while a person was trespassed from all City of Cambridge properties, there were no grounds for criminal charges. A municipal law expert who is not involved in the situation says cities must balance public access with keeping people safe.
I think what you have to do is, obviously, as an employer even, and those sorts of things, municipalities have to make sure their employees feel safe to come to work, that, municipal work can still get done, even in the face of these threats. But at the same time, try to do what it can to make things as accessible as possible.
The city release says in response to what happened, a number of new measures have been put in place, including staff training and updates to existing protocols, security personnel at City Hall and council meetings, bag checks at council meetings, controlled foot traffic and access points throughout City Hall, emergency training with council and staff, and additional security enhancements to council chambers. But some Cambridge residents still have questions about the initial decision to restrict public access.
We just want them to know that, hey, we're not happy with the way things are going. We have a right to be heard.
In addition to restricting public access to council chambers, the city also limited the number of people at City Hall, including putting porta potties outside the building for the public to use, something that Sean Hoss, who is a double amputee, finds particularly upsetting.
It's humiliating. It's absolutely humiliating.
Hoss says even though one porta potty is larger than the others, it is still too small for a wheelchair to turn in, and the hand washing station is operated by a foot pedal.
It blows me away that you can't have, common decency and the wherewithal to look at somebody and say, you know what, they can't use this.
Hoss would like to see more transparency about why measures like this were necessary.
I've been hearing different stuff from different people, and it just blows me away that nobody will come up and say, you know what, I closed it, this is the reason why. Everybody seems to be passing the buck or skirting the issue.
We requested an interview from the City of Cambridge to discuss the situation, but one was not provided. I am told that it is expected to be discussed or mentioned at tonight's council meeting that starts in about half an hour. Tony.
Okay, we'll keep an eye on that this evening. Krista Simpson live at Cambridge City Hall for us. Krista, thank you for this. And still ahead on CTV News at 6, the latest on a Cambridge councillor and a post on social media that was deemed offensive, what the city's integrity commissioner is recommending. Heather Senerin joins us with that story coming up just a little bit later in the show. Right now, though, time for a first check on the weather. Let's head outside to Alex Pinto on the patio tonight. Not too bad for almost the middle of October, Alex.
Yeah, not too bad, and especially coming off the heels of a pretty nice Thanksgiving Monday. Hopefully you had a chance to check out the Oktoberfest Thanksgiving Day Parade yesterday. That sun was shining. You might be needed a little bit of a light sweater, but to start the day today, above seasonal once again. Expected to hit a high of 20. We have not hit that at this point. And standing out here right now, while we are seeing a little bit of sun mixed with a bit of cloud, it's a little breezy, making it feel a little bit cooler out here. So starting with our satellite and radar map, yes, like we said, we're seeing that blue sky here for your Tuesday as we kick off the week. A few clouds still sticking around. Temperature-wise, though, many of us sitting in that mid to upper teen range. Again, 20. I don't know if we're going to hit that 20-degree mark at this point, but something we're going to keep an eye on within the hour before, of course, that temperature starts to come down. In terms of overnight lows, though, we're definitely going to feel a bit of that chill once again. So we'll break down how cool it is expected to get and when we could see a chance for some wet weather this week. That's coming up a bit later in your full forecast. Tony.
Sounds good, Alex. Thank you. A family of 4 in Cambridge has lost their home to a fire. Officials say everyone made it out safely, but the damage is extensive. CTV's Alexandra Hollick reports.
What's left of a garage door sits smoldering in a pile of rubble. Hours after a fire ripped through this Cambridge home.
There was heavy flame smoke showing coming from the garage area. So crews made entry for a quick attack and suppression of the fire.
Cambridge fire officials say they were called to this single-family townhome on Fairgreen Close early this morning. They say all 4 people living inside managed to get out safely, but the damage is estimated to be around $800,000.
It started inside the family home from what we can tell at this time.
Video supplied to CTV News shows smoke billowing from the garage as crews fought the flames.
I was inside playing games and I heard a commotion go on.
Jordan Snow lives a couple doors down. While he says he didn't see the fire, he jumped into action to help.
We hustled in a couple of kids that were part of the family. It was more or less just make sure these guys are okay and comfortable and not really thinking about what was going on outside.
The cause of the fire is under investigation, but it isn't suspicious.
All the individuals from the area were assessed and there was no no individuals were transported to the hospital.
Fire officials are expected to wrap up their investigation soon before turning the scene over to the insurance companies. In the meantime, neighbors are collecting donations to support the family. Alexandra Hollick, CTV News, Cambridge.
A man in his 30s has been arrested for impaired driving after crashing into the back of a Toronto police cruiser in North York. It happened just after 4:15 this morning as officers were stopped investigating an earlier collision. One officer was in the vehicle when it was rear-ended. They were taken to the hospital with minor injuries. The Ontario government's launching a new commercial to air in the U.S. aimed at convincing Americans that tariffs are a bad thing, in the words of one of their own presidents. The $75 million commercial features a speech that was given by Ronald Reagan back in 1987. And Premier Doug Ford hopes those words will resonate with average Americans today. CTV's Siobhan Morris reports.
This is a new Ontario ad against tariffs that the government hopes will capture the eyes and ears of Americans.
Rejecting protectionist legislation and promoting fair and free competition. America's jobs and growth are at stake.
Using the voice of former Republican President Ronald Reagan to make the case. The Premier showed it off before a speech in front of the Empire Club in Toronto.
It's not a nasty ad. It's actually just very factual, and coming from a person like Ronald Reagan, every Republican is going to identify that voice.
The cost of the ad, $75 million, hitting stations like Fox, NBC, ABC, ESPN, CBS, and many local affiliate stations over the next 2 weeks, using words from that 1987 address from Reagan to emphasize the damage of tariffs and trade wars.
Markets shrink and collapse, businesses and industries shut down, and millions of people lose their jobs.
We're going to repeat that message to every Republican district there is, right across the entire country.
Doug Ford's been trying to do some of that outreach on a one-to-one basis, hosting governors, including at least one Republican.
We're proud of the relationship between Utah and Ontario.
But these are leaders already aligned with Ford on tariffs. This ad spend is bigger than the last Made for the U.S. campaign Ontario launched just over a year ago. That one was about $50 million and doesn't look to have moved the needle. Still, the finance minister insists it is worthwhile to keep speaking out against tariffs in the U.S.
They don't help. They drive prices up. They hurt jobs. So I think we're going to not relent in telling our perspective to the American people.
Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Canada's agriculture industry is seeking relief from punishing tariffs on products ranging from canola to pork and seafood, now that China says it is ready to end that pain, but only if Canada acts first. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver has more.
Chinese EV brands like Warren Buffett-backed BYD are revving up their presence in Asia and Europe. But steep tariffs have the vehicles locked out of North American markets.
There's no damn way we should drop tariffs on China, I'll tell you that. Absolutely not.
But that's not how all the premiers feel. The premiers of Manitoba and Saskatchewan want Ottawa to scrap its 100% tariff on Chinese electric vehicles, now that China is pledging to lift its punishing tariffs on Canadian pork and canola in exchange.
When we're talking $2 a bushel off the price of canola just since the tariff announcement, that's quite a big hit to our bottom line.
But while farmers are feeling the financial hit now, experts in the Canadian auto sector fear a bleaker future if cheaper Chinese-made cars start flowing in.
We cannot allow it to happen. These are subsidized vehicles, and they would attempt to take market share from Canadian North American manufacturers without agreeing to trade on a level playing field.
The federal government has said it's reviewing its EV tariffs, a move that will likely come up later this week when the Foreign Affairs Minister meets with her counterparts in China. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
A dynamic duo associated with one of the world's most famous TV shows brings a production to Stratford. Coming up, CTV's Jeff Pickle on the creative connection between The Simpsons and a play that is about to hit the stage in the Festival City.
I'm Heather Sanderin at Cambridge City Hall, where a Cambridge City councillor could be reprimanded after a social media post earlier this year sparked outrage from the community. Find out why the Integrity Commissioner is getting involved just ahead.
As that sun starts to go down, we are noticing a little bit of a chill in the air. We'll take a look at your long-range forecast, including when we could see some wet weather coming up.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We go to a dramatic scene unfolding.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVKitchener.ca, your home for news.
Instagram is making major changes to what teens can see online. Meta, the company that runs the popular social media app, says it's limiting access to PG-13 content and requiring parental permission to change settings. CTV's Dave Charbonneau reports.
Tori Beaumont knows how easy it is to get drawn into Instagram.
There's a lot of content on Instagram that's unregulated.
For her, the constant stream of videos and photos can sometimes be too much.
I've seen a lot of really gory stuff on there, some very explicit things on there. It's very good that I feel like they're cracking down on that sort of censorship.
Now, Meta says it's limiting teen accounts to PG-13 content by default and requiring parents to approve any changes. The new system is designed to be easy for parents to understand.
We're doing this to really speak the language of parents who are much more familiar with movie ratings in terms of kind of a familiar model for those who are using Instagram.
It's stuff like this, just any type of killing, anything.
But 17-year-old Bahir Zai says he still has access to mature content.
It does give you a warning saying it does have violence or something, and you could either click CY or you can click just to see the post.
Most kids are just scrolling through reels and stuff like that. I feel like it's a good feature to stop kids from seeing things they're not meant to see yet.
Some parents are already taking steps to filter what their kids see.
When I made the accounts for my kids, I put their ages in, and I made sure that everything was tied into what they were doing, and I went to my account to filter it all out.
One technology expert says the new measures may not catch every case.
They will start using artificial intelligence to determine if a child is being truthful or is lying about their age. But again, that technology not 100% perfect. There's still a lot of kids slipping through the cracks.
I have a little reservation about AI being used to try and determine the age of my kids, because it could actually, people who are old enough get scanned young, and it could cause all sorts of problems.
And even teens like Tori Beaumont say the system won't be perfect.
I think it's good that they're trying to put age verification things in place, but I don't think that it's going to work, because let's be real, anyone can lie about their age online.
Dave Charbonneau, CTV News.
With Thanksgiving over, many people are now starting to think about Christmas, with the holiday shopping season just around the corner. Tonight, a new survey shows that even amid uncertainty about the economy, Canadians are expecting to spend a little more this year. CTV's Caitlin Wilson has details.
Amanda Kiley isn't shopping for the holidays just yet, but she's already getting a little help from ChatGPT.
I get it to help me because I have 4 kids, so it makes it easier to get ChatGPT to help me organize it. I do ask where to go.
Deloitte's new holiday retail outlook found half of those surveyed have used artificial intelligence in the past 3 months, up from 33% last year. And about 1 in 4 say they plan to use AI tools this holiday season. But whether it's online or in person, one thing hasn't changed. Most consumers are still chasing discounts.
AI is being leveraged to ensure that you get the most personalized experience from the brand and that they're resonating with you across all channels.
And while some are using AI to do custom searches, compare products, and get inspiration, the survey found only 17% of consumers fully trust AI and 70% worry about how much personal information it collects.
We'll be at the kitchen table, we'll talk about something we're looking at getting, and then all of a sudden, the next day, something pops up, so obviously it's a little bit spooky.
Others, like Ann Scott, who is picking up an online order, say she doesn't mind the occasional personalized discount as long as the technology doesn't go too far.
I'm not big on artificial intelligence because it drives me crazy that Big Brother is watching everything you might search.
Deloitte says on average, 1 in 4 shoppers now expect retailers to use AI, but earning the trust of consumers could be the biggest deal of all.
I think it's a very interesting concept, but I'm also a little bit concerned what they do with that data.
Caitlin Wilson, CTV News.
Could be reprimanded for a controversial social media post earlier this year. The city's integrity commissioner says Councillor Adam Cooper did not uphold the code of conduct and has suggested repercussions. But it is City Council who will be deciding Cooper's fate. CTV's Heather Senerin joining us now live in front of Cambridge City Hall, where this is going to be discussed at tonight's council meeting. Heather, what are the repercussions that we're possibly talking about here?
He could be officially reprimanded for 10 days unpaid, Tony, but like you said, is up to City Council to decide what his fate is, and that Cambridge City Council meeting will start in about 10 minutes. In January, Ward 6 Councillor Adam Cooper posted this meme to social media showing a person with bright hair captioned, "He took my pronouns. I have to live in reality now," sparking a wave of outrage from Cambridge residents like this married couple who are the founders of Grand River Pride.
I think that, there's this conversation of freedom of speech, and people forget that that doesn't exclude you from consequence. If you say things that hurt others, those people are able to stand up in this country and have justice.
Brian Casarano Bolton is one of 10 people who filed an official complaint with Cambridge's integrity commissioner about Councillor Cooper's post.
In general, if somebody is doing something that I think is inappropriate, I say something. I try to say something. The fact that we have an integrity commissioner in Ontario to be able to investigate these types of things, I think is part of our civil rights.
The Integrity Commissioner making recommendations to City Council to officially reprimand Councillor Cooper and suspend his pay for 10 days.
It's quite relieving to see that, yeah, the Integrity Commissioner's report came back to say Adam Cooper did in fact go against the Code of Conduct.
According to the report, Cooper defended the meme as a form of political debate, but the Integrity Commissioner claimed it demeaned a specific group.
We have yet to receive an apology from Councillor Cooper regarding this, so it feels as well like the job's not done yet.
Back in January, Cooper told CTV News it was his right to express his opinion, adding that he was the one being inundated with hateful, bullying messages after discussing the post with Eric Bolton online. But for now, it's up to Council to decide what's next.
And we really, really hope that Council will choose to keep that Code of Conduct as a priority for how they handle themselves with the community.
The report noted that Cooper did not uphold the Code of Conduct requirements for a member of Council who should conduct themselves with decorum, courtesy, respect, and decency. The authors of the report, who represent Cambridge's Integrity Commissioner, are set to present it to Council momentarily, and then City Council can either accept it, reject it, or modify the recommendations. Tony.
Okay, Heather Centerin live at Cambridge City Hall. Appreciate that. Thank you, Heather. And let's take a look toward North Waterloo as we approach sunset, which is getting earlier and earlier. Of course, Alex is back in just a couple of moments to tell us how this mid-October week is shaping up weather-wise, and also coming up, adding a tangy twist to some Oktoberfest traditions. On this week's edition of Made Right Here, we're going to dive into the creative condiments at Snicklefritz Kitchens. And next, the next steps in making sure the ceasefire deal in the Middle East holds. CTV's Heather Wright is on the ground in Israel with new reporting for us coming up in a few minutes. All right, welcome back, everyone. You had a good Thanksgiving weekend?
I did. How about yourself?
I did, yes. Didn't get up for the usual family dinner this year. I was part of a wedding over the weekend as well, so it was a rather busy weekend. But I did enjoy a Thanksgiving meal on Sunday, and it was nice to be together on Sunday with some of my family down here.
Yes, all the turkey, all the fixins, and yeah, today was a good reset day, which was good. We got some, some vegetables back in.
Lots of leftovers in that fridge, I'll bet.
Lots of leftovers. Did not have to meal prep really this week. I guess that's part of it, though. But and weather-wise, we've been pretty lucky, too.
Yeah, like there wasn't a ton to complain about over the weekend, except that we always felt like there was that threat of showers.
Yes, and depending where you are, where we were, we did see a few showers, actually, and a bit of that cloud cover. But for Monday, yesterday, hopefully you had a chance to either take in that parade live, the Oktoberfest Thanksgiving Day Parade, or you were able to watch the live stream. That sun, though, was shining. It was a pretty nice day out there. And us starting off the week, too, we are seeing lots of that sunshine. But as the hours continue, the evenings continue, we're definitely noticing a little bit of a cool down out there right now. But you can see from that live shot in Cambridge, yeah, that nice blue sky sticking around, just a few clouds for us. So getting into the rest of the evening, so mainly clear conditions, but this is when we could start to see a little bit of that cloud start to build up as we get more so into the overnight hours. So even around 2 o'clock or so, we could see some pretty thick clouds at some point. But once that does pass through, looking ahead to tomorrow, midday or so, getting into the evening, conditions should clear up once again. Chance of showers not until a little bit later in the week, which we will get into in just a moment. And temperature-wise, starting with what we're seeing across the province, further north, Timmins, Moosonee, sitting at a chillier 8 degrees right now compared to what we're seeing here in KW 17. Our expected daytime high for us here was 20. We did not hit that. 19 was the warmest that it got. And at this point, since we are starting to go downwards, I don't think we're going to be hitting that expected daytime high. Feeling a little bit warmer, though, in Windsor, 19 degrees, almost feeling like closer to 20 there. A little bit closer to home if you are along the shores of Lake Huron. So Goderich, for example, 13. Sarnia, 15 degrees right now. City of London sitting at 17. And here, again, 17 for us here in KW, 19 it is right now in Hamilton. So many of us in that mid to upper teen range today. Most of us above seasonal for this time of year as well. Overnight, though, this is when it's going to start to feel a little bit more seasonal. 5 degrees is our expected overnight low. Clear conditions, but again, we could see this increase in cloud like we saw in that future cast getting into the overnight hours. So specifically after midnight, and then once we get into the overnight, that cloud expected to clear in the morning. Tomorrow, daytime high, 13 degrees. So this is when we're going to start to feel a little bit more seasonal. So we might want a light jacket, maybe layer a sweater or two as well. That UV index, though, we've been sitting at that moderate level of 4. So we've been noticing this over the last week and a half or so. We're no longer kind of sitting in that 5-6 range, which is considered higher. So again, above seasonal, daytime high was supposed to be 20, but the highest point we did get was 19 degrees this afternoon. Record high 25.6. We saw that back on this day in 1930. And in terms of overnight low, yes, feeling pretty close to seasonal, just a couple of degrees off. Definitely not going to be getting down to minus 5.4, which is what we saw on this day back in 1993. And as Tony mentioned earlier, yes, the sun rising later and setting sooner too. So that sun going down 6:41 p.m. And if you're like me, I definitely had a hard time waking up this morning with that sun rising after 7:30 now. So over the next several days, clearing conditions, like we said, as we look ahead to tomorrow, high of 13 degrees. Then a bit of sunshine is expected to make an appearance on your Thursday. But overnight lows, we're getting back down to 0-1, so a little bit chillier. And in terms of weather-wise, yeah, look at that Sunday, 60% chance of showers. That's potentially when we could see some of that wet weather roll in. For Lambton, Kent, and Essex, 17 degrees expected daytime high for tomorrow. Slight chance for a bit of wet weather for you. And southern Georgian Bay, mix of sun and cloud for your Wednesday, high of just 11 degrees before you could see a little bit more of that sun for your Thursday. And here is tonight's Weather Watcher picture, a stunning shot sent to us from Ted Jacobs. Ted says they celebrated Thanksgiving at the cottage in Southampton on Lake Huron over the weekend and have a lot to be thankful for, including gorgeous weather and, of course, family. That orange, very nice and vibrant. So thank you so much for sending this and being tonight's Weather Watcher. I saw this come in and I was just like kind of in awe. It's a stunning, stunning shot and beautiful to kind of wrap up the Thanksgiving weekend for.
Thanksgiving at the cottage sounds like a cool tradition too. You know, you get the fall leaves deep in the woods, the beautiful scenery. But speaking of Thanksgiving and things to be grateful for and things that we are happy about, we would like to let all of you in on a little something that we've been talking about lately, and it's something we're very happy about, and it is some family news that you would like to share publicly.
Very exciting family news, like we said. So if you joined us during CTV News at 5 on Friday or the Oktoberfest opening day ceremonies, I kind of, you know, made a little joke hint. I'm glad the fest halls have, 0.0% beer because I'm expecting, and some of you have guessed it. So great job there. But yes, it's very exciting news. Very thankful, obviously, for this time of year too. So yes, we're really very much so excited for that. And yeah, it's kind of a lot to be thankful for this year.
Congratulations to you and Matt. We are so happy and excited to see your family growing, and you'll be around with us for a little while before baby joins the party.
Yeah, we still have a few months, so not until January, and so I will be here, and hopefully we'll make it to Toy Mountain. That's my big goal.
Yes.
That's
you know, our former colleague, Lindsay Morrison, I think it was the day after the Toy Mountain campaign that she gave birth to one of her children.
Yeah, she was determined. She said, no, we're going to be here for that Toy Mountain campaign. And, so during Thanksgiving, we were lucky enough to, I guess, eat for two, if you will. But
very good, very good.
Not going to be complaining about that. But of course, with Thanksgiving behind us now, many of us are going to be getting into that spooky spirit. We recently put a call out to send us your homes decked out for the scariest night of the year. And we're going to show you a couple of them we've received. They're pretty good between the displays, the lighting, especially getting those shots at night when you can see the display in full effect. So these photos are going to be going up online as well. So we saw, you know, images sent to us from those near Acton to Kitchener. And if you are comfortable sharing your address with us, please do when you're sending these photos, because we're going to be creating an interactive map over on our website, ctvnewskitchener.ca, to share with trick-or-treaters, of course, so they can plan their route ahead. So yes, keep sending us these. We want to see all of them. They're getting pretty creative. You can send us your image at CKCR video weather at bellmedia.ca. And we're going to be featuring some of these during our Weather Watcher segment like we're doing here tonight. So they're always fun to see, and I'm always so impressed with what people come up with.
It's amazing. I also didn't know we had a spooky CTV library music
Pretty
cut.
good.
Yeah.
Kudos to Hayden for finding that one.
That's good. Yeah, thanks, Hayden. This is great because it's going to be like driving around at Christmas time,
Yes.
seeing holiday and Christmas lights. We'll do the same thing with Halloween homes.
Exactly. I always love it.
Love it. All right, Alex, thank you very much.
Thank
and
you.
once again, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Well, the ceasefire in Gaza is holding, but there is uncertainty over next steps as Hamas has yet to deliver the remains of 24 hostages and is reportedly regrouping militarily. Here's CTV's Heather Right now with the latest.
An emotional and painful homecoming as the remains of 4 deceased hostages arrive at the Forensic Institute for Identification in Tel Aviv.
Learning we're only getting 4 of them was a big kick in the stomach.
Rotem Cooper's father, Amiram, was 85 years old when he was kidnapped from Kibbutz Nir Oz on October 7th. He was killed in captivity. His body is still in Gaza. Families were aware that all 28 deceased hostages would not be returned yesterday, but they hoped they would be able to give more proper burials.
It's very clear that Hamas is playing games, that Hamas is not really cooperating, is not really in good faith.
Hamas has said it will take time to find all the bodies as they aren't sure where they are all located. Late tonight, Israel announced Hamas would release more remains, their identities not yet known. In response to the delay, Israel said today it will delay the reopening of the Rafah border crossing into Gaza and reduce the amount of aid allowed in. By how much and for how long is not clear. In Gaza City, bulldozers cleared piles of rubble today, a first step in allowing people to return. But with limited equipment and an estimated 84% of the enclave destroyed, according to the UN, it will be a lengthy process.
We don't have enough equipment, enough loaders or bulldozers to carry out this work.
As Gaza begins to rebuild, questions remain about the durability of this ceasefire and the future of the enclave where Hamas has been trying to reassert itself in recent days. This video, reportedly taken in Gaza City, shows Hamas fighters rounding up several men in a circle and shooting them.
The bottom line is this really a peace deal, or is this only a hostage release deal plus a temporary ceasefire? It's still unclear, but I'm fearful that it's more the latter than the former.
Today, the United Nations put a price tag on how much it will cost to rebuild the enclave, $70 billion, with at least $20 billion needed over the next 3 years. Heather Wright, CTV News, Tel Aviv.
Coming up, bolstering a connection between Waterloo Region's airport and Pearson. Air Canada doubling down on a luxury shuttle service. We'll have details on the expansion. Turning now to business news, Canadian Tire says some of its customer information was involved in a recent data breach. The retailer says the breached information belongs to shoppers who had an e-commerce account with Canadian Tire or its other banners, including Sport Check, Marks, and Party City. The data included names, email addresses, and in some cases, incomplete credit card numbers. The company says the information is not enough to access accounts and make purchases. The vulnerability was first identified on October 2nd, and the company says it's working with experts to enhance its security. Well, Air Canada is hitting the gas on its popular shuttle service between Waterloo Region's airport and Toronto Pearson. The airline says the luxury coach connection has been such a hit, it's now doubling the number of daily trips from 5 to 10 beginning in December. The service, run by the landline company, first rolled out in May of last year, giving travelers an easy one-ticket trip from YKF to Pearson. Travelers can check in, drop their bags, and grab a boarding pass before hopping on board. The shuttle will include spacious seating, Wi-Fi, power outlets, and a washroom, and the trip ends at Air Canada's dedicated Terminal 1 gate at Pearson. Landline says the expansion comes after strong demand from customers who wanted more flexible options to match their connecting flights. Okay, time now to update our top stories on this Tuesday evening. Ashley Bacon in studio with us for all the latest. And we're keeping an eye on the evolving situation in Cambridge with that security incident. The doors open again at City Hall.
That's right, Tony. The chambers are now open to the public. In-person attendance is allowed now 3 weeks after a security scare that led to restrictions around the building. But some residents say there are still many unanswered questions about why the moves were necessary. Some of those concerned citizens gathered outside City Hall ahead of tonight's meeting to express those frustrations. While staying in Cambridge, a family of 4 lost their home to a fire this morning. Cambridge fire officials say there was heavy flames and smoke coming from the garage area of the residence. Damage is estimated around $800,000. The cause of the fire is under investigation, but is not suspicious. Thankfully, the family made it out safely, and there were no injuries reported.
And Ash, looking at what our digital team is working on the website, story out of Cambridge. We got a lot of news out of Cambridge today,
Cambridge news.
We do. We've got you covered in Cambridge. The thing about Cambridge is it's really known as a film and TV production hotspot, too, and there's a pretty cool production underway right now.
Absolutely. It's such a beautiful space, and the show is called Old Enough. It follows young children while they attempt to navigate the world around them. This is the Canadian version of a popular Japanese television show. For more information on this story, you can scan the QR code on the bottom left of your screen or go to the story on your CTV News app to download the app right now. You can also visit our CTV News website, ctvnewskitchener.ca. And of course, Tony, if you're out and about and see some toddlers being followed around with cameras, there is a reasonable explanation.
They may be part of this production.
Yes.
Young stars. I love it. All right. Thanks, Ash.
Thank you.
Well, forget the usual condiments. On this week's Made Right Here, we are diving into a local flavor sensation that's putting KW on the mustard map. From bratwurst to sandwiches, Snickle Fritz Kitchens is bringing a taste that you'll want on your plate this Oktoberfest.
Hi, I'm Sandy Nickel, founder and food creator at Snickle Fritz Kitchens. We make sauces and condiments that honor the flavors and traditions of Waterloo County. And today, we're going to be focused on our local KW favorite, Oktoberfest mustard. So the idea for making the Oktoberfest mustard came from the fact that Schneider's Oktoberfest mustard had been discontinued. And I knew that in this region, we had to have Oktoberfest mustard. It's such a favorite and tradition. We were already making butter tart mustard, so I knew that we would be able to make this happen. So I worked out the recipe, working with local suppliers, and we came out with something very similar to Schneider's, with a little Snickle Fritz twist. We started with making a slurry of the mustard bran, and that sits for a little bit, and then we can add in all of the mustard flour and the sugars and the salt. That's it. That's all that's in our products. Then once they've reached the right pH levels and the temperature levels, they can then put it through the process to get it into the bottles. So it goes into a hopper, it comes down, and it goes into the bottles, it gets capped. It's checked by a person to make sure the caps are on right. It goes through the coating, the date coating, and then it gets the labels on, and then it goes into either on a shelf or it goes into a box for transport. My passion is creating new products. I like being in the kitchen. I call it my lab, and creating new flavors and what's going to go with what. We have 5 products in our lineup, and I like to think they're somewhat unique because we make sure that they're gluten-free and they're also free from corn. Our 5 products on the market are Oktoberfest mustard, we have zucchini relish and chili sauce, and of course our unique butter tart mustard and butter tart barbecue sauce. Our Oktoberfest mustard has a beautiful sweet and tangy taste to it, and the response that we've had so far from the community has been fantastic. And that's what makes me feel good about this product and all our products, is that it's bringing those flavors and traditions back that people wanted.
Okay, Blue Jays, let's play ball. Coming up later on CTV News, down 2-0 in the ALCS, the trip to Seattle that needs to include a turnaround. A play in Stratford is nothing new, but Frankenstein's Daughter, opening this week, is a little different. It's not part of the Stratford Festival Theatre. It's going to be running for 10 days at the aptly named Here for Now Theatre. The play is written by a husband and wife duo. The husband, one of the most famous voice actors of all time. CTV's Jeff Pickle reports.
You may not recognize his face.
When you write something for The Simpsons, it goes through a major rewrite process.
But you definitely know the voice.
Yes. Can you give us a little Homer, maybe?
Yeah, all right, a little Homer.
Then, of course, there's Krusty the Clown.
All right, Krusty.
Dan Castellaneta, the voice of Homer Simpson and several other Simpson characters.
Hey, funny man, say something funny.
Together with his wife and writer on The Simpsons, Deb LaCusta, the pair wrote Frankenstein's Daughter.
We wanted to write definitely a comedy, and this is a dark comedy.
The two-person play about strangers meeting at a cabin in the woods, scripted for laughs and a scare.
There's nobody here but you.
And that person there claims that they know that person too, and that they were supposed to be there. And so I thought that was an interesting start to a play.
The play is debuting at Stratford's Here for Now Theatre and presented by Process Theatre, a company with the slogan where we take comedy seriously.
So it's about therapy and what's happening in that world, and are we really helping anybody? Or are we just messing people up?
Written in LA, but finding its way to a stage in Stratford, thanks to the writers and director crossing paths at the legendary Second City Theater in Chicago decades earlier.
And they were writers coming into my first theater company, and we got to be good friends, and we have maintained that friendship over the years.
After director Michael Gelman moved to Stratford, so did Frankenstein's Daughter.
It's a lot more intimate, isn't it? I mean, it's 60 seats, and this is the set you see behind you, and so I love that kind of theater.
Gelman says it's the type of theater that reminds him of home.
They used to call it kitchen sink drama. And that's how it feels like. It feels like you're in the living room. And I love that intimacy.
So we both know it's a she.
I didn't say that.
You just did.
What's her name?
Frances Stein.
Frances Stein?
Yes, Dr. Frances Stein.
For the actors, the script and the venue offering something a little different to the Stratford audience.
But I think it's so exciting to have an alternative that's not necessarily competition, but is a great, side dish to the festival, and especially to have comedy.
Frankenstein's Daughter runs at the Here for Now Theatre from October 16th through to the 26th. Jeff Pickle, CTV News, Stratford.
Some very cool connections there. Okay, let's find out what's coming up later tonight on CTV National News.
Tonight, an innocent man dies from meth.
And he was screaming out, I want my mom, I want my mom, I'm dying, I want mom.
Canada's lethal link to New Zealand's growing addiction and how the drug was smuggled in. Later on CTV National News.
Temperature continues to drop out there this hour. We'll let you know how cool it can be to start off your day, and wake up weather coming up after the break. Here's a look at your Tuesday night lineup at 7 o'clock. Stick around for MasterChef Canada before The Voice at 8. And then High Potential is airing before CTV National News.
Okay, we're going to check in with Ashley one more time for a look at what our team's following for later tonight, Ash.
We'll continue to keep an eye on Cambridge City Council tonight as chambers are reopened to the public following a security issue and police investigation, as well as a number of hot-button topics that are expected to be addressed during the meeting. CTV's Karis Mapp is on the ground, and we'll have more on those stories at 11:30. Tony.
Ashley, thank you so much, and have a good evening. And Alex is back with our wake-up weather for Wednesday, middle of the week already tomorrow.
I know, right?
Yep.
This is what happens when we have a shortened week. We really are. Yeah, so in the start to your day off, a little bit chilly overnight, and then by 6 a.m. we should be sitting about 6 degrees, mainly cloudy conditions. By 10 a.m. we should be hitting around 10. Mix of sun and clouds, but really we're noticing those overnight lows getting chillier and chillier. 5 degrees, again, expected overnight low. But yeah, as we look ahead to the rest of the week, we could be getting back down to 0. So want to keep an eye out for those plants.
Oh, yes. And finally for us, we're going to keep an eye out for those Jays. It's an off day for the Toronto Blue Jays today. They're en route to Seattle to take on the Mariners. Game 3 of the ALCS tomorrow.
Yeah, the Jays have dropped the first 2 games of the series here at home, but fans are not writing the team off just yet. CTV Sean Leathong with that story.
Reaction to yesterday's 10-3 loss to the Seattle Mariners in the American League Championship Series is clear.
It was not fun at all. Well, it's a little depressing.
Oh, it was amazing.
It's hard to believe, really, but that's baseball, I guess.
Entering the weekend, the Blue Jays had everything going for them. The team rested at home, with Seattle coming into town seemingly tired. But just like that, the Jays are down 2-0 and headed to Seattle for 3 straight games.
They just didn't hit the ball. They looked ill-prepared, to be honest.
You expect a lot more out of the bullpen, and with Vladdy.
Through the first 2 games of the series, the Blue Jays have been outscored 13-4. Contrast that with the Yankees series, where the Jays scored 23 runs in the first 2 games. And in this series, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has yet to record a hit. A surprise to Mariner fans Matthew Bolden and Kristen Young, who flew in for the games.
And I thought maybe we would take 1 here and go home 1-1.
Like, I felt bad for some of the Toronto fans because they're like, you guys are the only ones smiling right now.
And Seattle has reason to be excited. In baseball, there have been 93 times a team has gone up 2-0 in a 7-game series. That team has won the series 78 times, or just under 84%. Lori Radicki traveled from Saskatoon to see both games this weekend. She says the numbers mean nothing.
Coming back. Don't even. No, they're coming back. I know it. I feel it.
The Blue Jays led the majors with 49 comeback wins this year, and they managed to sweep a 3-game series in Seattle back in May.
You think they're coming back to Toronto for Game 6?
Absolutely. Absolutely. No doubt.
Yeah, I think that you might have a chance. I'm hoping not.
Don't want to sound like I'm jumping off the bandwagon, but I think that the train's almost gone, yeah.
We done it before. We can do it again. I love the Jays.
Oh, I don't like that pessimism there. The train's already gone. No.
Positive.
But the reality is they do have to get 1 win in Seattle, or yeah, it's a much different story.
Okay, all eyes going to be on the Jays. We're going to keep wearing our blue to support.
Yes, good idea. That's a very good idea. And we will be back here tonight as well at 11:30 with your next local news right after the CTV National News at 11. For all of us here, thanks for watching. News anytime over at ctvnewskitchener.ca. Have a good night.
Take care.